Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to lesson number 4 in Psychology MasterClass Meditation Part 1. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking a little bit about, well, a lot about meditation, but how it can be utilized as a tool to help you in trading and in life in general. So before we get started, guys, let me know. Audio, video, good. Give me a Y if it's all good. For those who are attending live, let me know. And then we're going to get started in a minute or two. Awesome. Looks like it's all good. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about meditation, and this is going to be the introduction to meditation. And then the next lesson is going to be part 2, which we're going to dive into some deeper stuff. So it's going to be it's going to be an interesting lesson. And therefore, if you guys have any questions in regards to meditation, obviously this is the lesson to ask those questions. So feel free to post them now or throughout the webinar or near the end of the webinar as questions come up. And yeah, we'll chat a little bit about various tools and such. There's really not one way to meditate. There's many different ways to meditate, so we'll chat about those. But mainly we'll focus on why it's beneficial, how to do it, give you some resources and such. So before I get started, for those who are attending live, do you guys have any beginning questions or anything that you want me to cover within this webinar? Let me know. I'll wait 30 seconds or so, 1 minute for you guys to type it up. And then we're gonna get started. So I see a lot of people are typing. I'll just chat a little bit as some of you guys are typing questions or whatnot. And I'll walk you guys a little bit through my meditation journey as well. But before I do so, I wanted to start off with a quote from one of the best investors in the entire world. And his name, you guys know him. We talked about him in the equities masterclass and well, mainly in the investing masterclass. His name is Ray Dalio. So for those who know Ray Dalio, you'll also know, if you read any of his books or know much about him, you'll also know that he's been meditating for, I don't know, maybe like 40 years or so. I think he picked up meditation back in the 60s, 70s, and if I'm not mistaken, it was from the Beatles, the band Beatles. Pretty sure it was the Beatles. Since they were meditating, he started meditating back in the day. I think it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 1960s, 1970s or so. But he speaks about meditation a lot. And one of his main quotes about meditation, which is something I truly believe, is meditation helps you stay in a calm, clear-headed state so that when challenges come at you, you can deal with them like a ninja in a calm, thoughtful way. When you're centered, your emotions are not hijacking you. So that's a quote by Ray Dalio, which in a way is exactly what we need as traders, right? From the previous lessons that we were talking about limiting beliefs, right? And when it comes to limiting beliefs, that's where meditation truly comes in. And like he said in his last sentence of the quote, when you're centered, your emotions are not hijacking you, right? So limiting beliefs is one, but when it comes to trading, right, your emotions are not hijacking you. That's key, right? That's key to combat emotional trading, right? And to me, it's one of the easiest way to combat emotional trading as well, is through regular meditative practice. There's obviously other ways as well, and we have briefly chatted about those other ways. But meditation is one very good tool. And again, there's many ways to meditate. There's not just one. So with that said, let me see what you guys have been typing up here as I've been chatting. And then I'll get started. So I'll just read some of those questions. So Chris says, do you believe an afternoon meditation session has the same effect or better than having a nap for the same amount of time? Totally different. Totally different. I'll start this question and I'll answer it at the end. And by that point, I'm sure you guys will probably have the answer. But nap versus meditation, afternoon nap versus an afternoon meditation they're both two totally separate things. You're going into two very different states of consciousness when you're sleeping and when you're meditating. So it's different, it's not the same. It has a totally different effect. We'll chat more about that later, but that's a good question. Never had that question before, so that's a good one. Sam, when starting out and the mental picture chops and changes, is practice the key or using guided meditation? So that's a question that we'll definitely be covering in this webinar. So I'll just flag it just in case, but that's something that's definitely going to be covered. Steph says, I currently meditate for 10 minutes a day using an app called Calm. Calm, that's C-A-L-M. I love it, but I want to take it to the next level. I have heard you mention that you have actually left your body before. How do you get to do that? So various states of meditation, like such as astral projection and such, we'll be chatting more about those in the next webinar. We'll talk a little bit about them at the end, but the next lesson, we'll be covering deeper states of meditation, such as astral projection and such, in a much more in-depth manner. But I'll chat a little bit about that, just kind of leading into the meditation part 2 lesson. And then there's a follow-up question, good question by Morgan. How do you fit meditation to your trading schedule? I'm actually going to write that down because that is not something I put down as a note. Cool, awesome. Good suggestion, Morgan. Thank you. Awesome. So meditation, what is meditation? So there's various ways to meditate, like I was saying. There's seated meditation, standing meditation, walking meditation, moving meditation, such as Qigong. Qigong is an Eastern practice, mainly practiced in Tibet, China, that part of the world, Buddhism. Then there's Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a form of moving meditation. It's also a form of martial arts. In a way, certain forms of martial arts, specifically forms such as Tai Chi, they are called moving meditations. Then there's obviously group meditation. Those are very powerful. We'll chat a little bit about that. Yoga in itself, the practice of yoga, that's a meditative practice. Then there's things such as self-hypnosis, right? Self-hypnosis puts you in a deeper state of consciousness, right? In a different state of consciousness. Self-hypnosis is a form of meditation as well. And that's something we'll chat more about in meditation part 2. And then there's different forms of meditation as well, such as transcendental meditation. That's Transcendental Meditation, or TM for short, TM. And Transcendental Meditation is what Ray Dalio actually does, if I'm not mistaken. And Transcendental Meditation has been on a movement over the last couple decades, I would say. TM is something that also was a comedian, very popular, Jim Carrey, the comedian from the movie The Mask and a few other movies. Jim Carrey practices transcendental meditation. He's very, very into it, kind of hardcore into it, but apparently it changed his life. So TM is very popular in Hollywood, I would say. There's a big kind of Hollywood actor movement promoting transcendental meditation, and that's something that the Beatles were doing, and that's something that Ray Dalio does. And what TM meditation is, it's pretty much a mantra. Mantra is a phrase, a sentence, right? A few words, one word, right? It can be anything from a sentence, a paragraph, to a couple words, to one word, right? It's a mantra that you repeat over and over and over and over and over again. It's kind of like a self-hypnosis in a way, right? It's a phrase that you're repeating over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's not an affirmation, because in TM the mantra is actually in a different language. Which language is it in? Sanskrit. Yeah, I believe the mantra is in Sanskrit. Thanks, Danny, for pointing that out. And but it's very similar to repeating an affirmation. Right? We'll chat more about that, because that's more of what I do. I do more of the affirmations rather than a traditional TM practice. And like I said, there's not a wrong or a right way to do it. It's what meditation, you got to remember, is that it's what feels good to you, right? It's a self practice. It's for you. Meditation is for you, right? It's kind of, it's something that you do daily for yourself, right? Not for anybody else. So it's not about, when it comes to meditation, it's not about following somebody. It's not about doing TM because Ray Dalio does TM. It's not about doing Qigong because, you've heard a lot about Qigong. It's trying it all and then doing what you like, right? Another form of meditation is Kriya. It's also called Kriya Yoga. And it's a meditative practice that, if I'm not mistaken, originated in India. That's what Morgan does. So Morgan's been practicing Kriya Yoga for a couple years now, if I'm not mistaken. 1.5 years. And that is a more in-depth practice. It's something, I don't want to say it's more kind of ritualistic. I don't know, Morgan, would you say it's kind of more ritualistic? But it's more of something that I would suggest you guys Google more. Morgan, what's the book on Kriya Yoga? I have it here. Yeah, there we go. Autobiography of a Yogi. Autobiography of a Yogi is a book on Kriya Yoga. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce the name of the author. You guys can check it out, but it's Autobiography of a Yogi. It's a long book, and it's his journey of discovery and Kriya Yoga, what it is. So like I said, there's many different ways to meditate. You can sit down right here, cross your leg in the lotus position, or you can just sit normally, right? You can stand, can simply be a normal standing meditation, close your eyes and just relax. And it can be a moving meditation. You can walk and meditate. You can even do a repetitive task like wash dishes, which nobody likes to wash dishes. I don't wash dishes. But in a repetitive practice like that, you can also find a calm meditative state, right? So meditation in a way is also just in regular kind of repetitive task, because it's repetitive, right? You do it over and over and over and over again. It's more like a muscle reflex, right? It's just something that you know what to do, You don't have to think about it. Because you don't have to think about it, you can spend that time in more of a meditative state as well. Morgan says Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos love washing dishes, and they're the biggest billionaires too, the largest, wealthiest man on earth, right? But it's a reflective practice. So with that said, the way I came into meditation, I've tried it all, right? I've tried it all except Kriya yoga, Kriya meditation. But I've done the guided meditations. I've done the seated meditations. I've done the walking, reflective type of meditations. I've done the moving meditations such as Qigong. I've tried Tai Chi. Didn't go too deep into Tai Chi because I focus more on Qigong. Group meditations, smaller groups. Those are very powerful, very extremely powerful, and I'll chat a little bit about that. Yoga, obviously done that. Self-hypnosis and hypnosis, done that as well. So I would suggest when it comes to meditation that you guys explore everything there is to know, right? Just explore and then find what feels good to you. So that brings me to why is meditation beneficial, right? Because I'm not going to tell you meditate. You have to figure that out for yourself why it's beneficial. But why is it beneficial in general, right? In trading, obviously, the calm state of being, right? The calm mind. Like Ray Dalio says, when you're centered, your emotions are not hijacking you. And so if you spend a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes meditating before the trading session, you're centered, you're calm, you're ready to go. Your emotions, your thoughts are not all over the place because you spent 10 minutes slowing everything down. Imagine when you have a busy day, you're always on the go, and you're going from one place to another, and you're driving, and you're stopping at a store, and then going to work, and whatever. You just had a busy day. There's so much going through your head, right? And then imagine jumping on the charts at that point. You're not in your most optimal state of being, right? The most optimal state of being is quiet up here and centered overall, right? At that point, you don't have thoughts going, in every single direction. You're not in a highly emotional state. You're just calm. And when you approach charts in that type of way, just calm, right, with nothing else going on, then that's truly where magic happens, right? And at that point, that's what I was talking about when picking up on emotional behavior immediately and not after the fact. That's the thing. That's the key. The key to picking up emotional mistakes or emotional trades before they happen, before you do them, the key to that is being calm and clear in your head, right? So that when you're looking at a trade and you're analyzing a position and then you want to jump into it because, I don't know, FOMO or greed or revenge trading, right? Right away, you'll notice that emotion is building up in you because there's nothing else going on, just you and the charts, right? So those emotions, those heightened emotions, that emotional trading behavior, you're able to pick up on it faster than if you didn't spend that time meditating, that 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even a couple minutes, because there's so much going on up here. Hence you miss it and then you pick it up after the fact. Oh, fuck, the trade was a loss. Why did I lose? Well, it was an emotional trade. And you knew it. It's just you picked it up after the fact. The key to picking that mistake or that emotional trade before it happens, right? Realizing that emotion before it happens, the key to that, in my opinion, is having that calm state of being. And the best way to achieve that calm state of being is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, through meditation. So that's the biggest benefit. The biggest benefit is just being calm, centered, and clear-headed. That's the biggest benefit, right? And you don't have to utilize that just in trading. You can utilize that in life in general. Imagine going through your entire day in a calm, clear-headed, centered state. Imagine living in that environment, right? That's the key. It's not just something that you do before a trading session for the trading session, right? It's something that you do for the trading session, but also for your general life, for your health, but mainly for life, right? Walking through life with a clear head is totally different than walking through life with a clouded head, with thousands of thoughts going through your mind, not knowing which direction to fucking take, just totally constantly being bombarded by the media, your friends, your family. When you meditate, you can very easy block all of that out, and just be you throughout the entire day. And you do that every single day. You keep up on this practice daily, then you'll be living that way all the time. And the benefits that it will have, it will not just benefit you in a trading way, it will benefit you in your relationships, in the people that you meet, and in the way you approach life in general. Because there's none of that self-doubt. And that's another thing that you can work on when it comes to meditation, is working on those limiting beliefs. Because when it comes to meditation, when you're able to, and I'll talk a little bit in a second, I'll talk about what I recommend, how you kind of get started with meditation. Now I'll just kind of give you an idea. But when you get to the point in your meditative practice, and it will take you there a little bit. The first step, in my opinion, right? The first step to meditation is obviously locking into a certain practice, right? Such as seated guided meditation, right? Guided so that somebody is there talking through your headphones and guiding you through the process. In a way, it's just a reminder to take a breath, or to focus on your breath. At the beginning, you're going to need that guided meditation. I don't want to say need, but for me, at least, it helped me. For Molly didn't use guided meditation at the beginning. She did it by herself, right? So some of you guys might want to do it by yourself. Some of you guys might like to do it in a guided state. At this point in time, sometimes I'll do a guided meditation. Sometimes I'll do a meditation that's not guided. It really just depends on what it is that I want to achieve. At the beginning, though, at the beginning of the meditation journey, I would say try to meditate for 10 minutes, right? When it comes to time, try to meditate for 10 minutes. So 10 minutes of guided meditation, you would literally just sit somewhere in a comfortable position. It doesn't have to be like a yogi in the lotus with crossed knees, right? There's a reason why they do that, by the way. And the reason why the yogis cross their knees when they're meditating is that there's two big arteries right in your thighs. One of the biggest arteries in your thighs. And when you put your feet in the lotus position, when you cross your legs in the lotus position, what that actually does is it cuts blood flow to those arteries, meaning it cuts blood flow to your legs. So your legs often fall asleep. Then where does it flow? Blood flow goes up here to the head, to the brain, right? So in a way, it's kind of like blocking off the energetic flow to the legs and just kind of focusing on the upper body. So that's why there's a reason to that seating, to the lotus seating position. And that's the main reason. So, but you don't have to do that. right? You can start off just normally sitting, cross your legs, or just sit on a chair with your feet planted on the ground, kind of thing. And then 10 minutes, get a guided app, get a guided application such as Calm, C-A-L-M, Calm. It's an application on the App Store. I've never used Calm. I used the other one, which is, man, it's been so long. Let me just pull it up. Headspace, there we go, Headspace. So I use Headspace, which is another application. Headspace is, I believe, one of the first major kind of meditative apps, and then Calm, I believe, kind of came after that. But I used Headspace, and on Headspace, there's kind of like a beginner course, maybe 10 guided meditations, and then you can go a little bit more advanced, a little bit more advanced, a little bit more advanced, and they go a little bit longer as well. But Headspace, it's good. And what it will do for you is a guided meditation at the beginning, such as Headspace. I'm not sure what Calm is like. Check it out. But from Headspace, at the beginning, what you'll learn is focus on the breath, right? And when you focus on the breath, at the beginning, what will happen to you most likely is that you'll notice that you just have shitload of thoughts and you can't focus on your breath. You might focus on your breath for 2 big inhales and exhales, right? Big inhale, big exhale. And then all of a sudden you'll start thinking about something. And then you'll be thinking about that for 5 minutes without even realizing. That's the thing. You'll probably notice that when you're meditating. For those who are in here, do you know what I'm talking about? Kind of at the beginning of a meditative journey, when you're starting to meditate, you might fall asleep, which I've never had that happen to me, but I had some people tell me that they fall asleep. But the main thing that happened to me, and I know happens to a lot of people, is they just can't block out the noise, right? That inner voice that just keeps on talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, right? Yourself or your ego, that inner voice just won't shut up. And you'll probably find that at the beginning of the meditation that all of a sudden you'll get lost in a certain idea or a certain thought form, and you will just be there for 5 minutes without even realizing, right? And hence a guided meditation, what that guided meditation will do is it will actually keep you on track, right? Because there's a different voice now telling you, okay, focus on your breath, right? Or listen to the bell or do something, and it will distract you from your thoughts. And what that does, what that guided meditation does at the beginning is, that's called awareness. That builds your awareness. Because all the time when you get lost in your thoughts, all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, okay, focus on your breath now. Right away, you're aware, right? And you realize, oh shit, I've been thinking. Literally, it's like that. Oh shit, I've been thinking. Right now, you're back to your breath. So that's why guided meditation is helpful at the beginning. At least that's why it was helpful for me. And we'll also give you some tools that you can practice by yourself eventually, right? So at the beginning, for me at least, the most important part is becoming aware that you're thinking, right? To the point where now you're aware of every single thought that's coming to your mind. And when you truly become aware of your thoughts, the way it works for me, and it will be different for everybody, it might be the same, it might be different, but the way it works for me is that when a thought comes in and I'm aware, right? Let's say I'm in a good place, and sometimes it's harder, right? It's a constant practice. But when you're truly aware, a thought comes in your meditation, right away you can pick up on the thought form, and if it's just random junk, which a lot of the times is just kind of random noise, then you can just let it go. Literally, in my mind, I just see it come in and I just see it go out, right? Because I control it. That's the difference here. When you're aware, when you become aware, through that guided meditation, the guided meditation helps you become aware. And then when you can do it by yourself, then literally it's like you're controlling what you're thinking. You know, a thought comes in, a random thought comes in, and you can spend 1 second on it, 2 seconds on it, be like, okay, this is pointless, let it go. Then you focus on your breath, and another thought form might come in, you realize it right away, be like, hey, that's interesting, I've actually been thinking about this a lot. So you can choose. It's not always the fact that you have to have a clear mind. Sometimes when a thought comes in, it might relate to something, right? So you can use that meditative time where you block off everything, block off your environment, block off the noise, and literally center in on that one thought form. It might be an idea, it might be a business that you're planning on launching, right? It might be something that you're problem solving, right? Something that you're struggling with, or a big decision that you're about to make, right? If that comes into your mind in a meditative practice, you might even start a meditative practice with that intention to solve a problem, right? Or figure out a solution or make a decision. And when you're centered, when you calm and there's nothing else going on and you totally blocked off all the 3D environment, right? Then you can center in on that thought form, just on that thought form. And you literally, it's like you're utilizing your full energy, your full beingness on that one idea, on that one problem. And a lot of times you'll notice you'll do one meditation, you'll finish, and right away you'll know, okay, that's what I gotta do, right? So meditation is more than just clearing your mind, right? To me, that's one of the key things. That's one of the first things that I believe, in my opinion, a person should know is how to control your thoughts. And that's that awareness that I was always talking about, right? Gaining that awareness. And the best way, in my opinion, to gain that awareness is through a guided meditative practice, because that guide always reminds you to focus on the breath or focus on the mantra, whatever it is that the guided meditation is about, right? So in a way, it kind of distracts you from your thoughts. But for me, the main purpose of that is for you to build that awareness. Because once you can build that awareness, eventually you can drop the meditative practice and you can just do it by yourself, right? You can spend 5-10 minutes on just fully clearing your mind. When a thought form comes in, you become aware and you just let it go. It's that process. That's how it works for me, at least, right? An idea, a thought comes in, I'll spend a second on it. If it's just junk, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Versus when you're not aware, a thought form comes in and it will sit there till you become aware, literally, right? It will sit there because there's nothing else that you're doing. So the thought form comes in and it will sit there, and it could sit there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then until you truly become aware, shit, I'm thinking, right? So the quicker you can realize that you're thinking, that is how fast you can realize that you're about to make an emotional decision, right? The better your awareness, the faster you can react on the charts when it comes to emotions and in life and in decision making. So that, in my opinion, is why meditation is beneficial, right? And it's just about that awareness, that clarity, that calm state of being, the focus, right? If you truly need to focus on something, like zero in, center in on an idea or a problem, just truly focus on that. Meditation will help with that, right? And then know yourself better. Explore within, explore your past memories, your limiting beliefs, break those, right? And manage emotions. So at the beginning, truly at the beginning, a regular meditative practice will do all of that, right? Or at least it can do all of that and much more, literally much more. We're just getting started here on meditation. And yeah, what I would recommend is start with 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, or 10 minutes every single day. Every single day at a regular time. It doesn't have to be a regular time, but if you can find 10 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes in the afternoon or 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon, for now, just maybe focus on it once a day kind of thing. 10 minutes on an app like Headspace or Calm, or if you're past that, just work on that awareness, focus on your breath or focus on a mantra, and then just clear your head in that type of way. And do it regularly, do it daily. A daily practice will just strengthen everything within you. Will strengthen that awareness. It will keep you in that calm state for longer, because if you meditate regularly, specifically daily or even multiple times a day, you're literally just putting yourself in that calm state of being all the time, right? And you'll become very efficient that way in your day-to-day tasks. And then every single month or every week, increase it by 5 minutes, from 10 minutes to 15 minutes, from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And 20 minutes is like a nice sweet spot. But I find that once you're able to go past 20 minutes, at that point, I find that you can literally fully zone yourself out. And if you go past 20 minutes, right, then you're very deep in a meditative state. At least that's kind of for me, from what I've noticed. 20 minutes is really good, right? If you go past 20 minutes, you can get very, very, very deep. And a lot of my meditative practice is just 20 minutes, literally. I'll just jump on 20 minutes, do my meditation, and move on with life. I can do a visualization practice in that 20 minutes. I can do anything in that 20 minutes. And if I want to go farther, right, then I'll go for 30, I'll go for 40, I'll go maybe for an hour, or I might start off with a Qigong practice or a yoga practice, and then finish with a 20-minute meditation. Or start off with a 20-minute meditation, then do yoga or Qigong, right? And in a way that's extending that meditation for an hour by doing that. 20-minute meditation, 40-minute yoga, or vice versa. And that way you're in that state of being, that calm state of being, for an entire hour. Tibetan warriors, right? Zen Buddhist warriors, Shaolin monks from the Shaolin Temple. That's where the crazy Kung Fu guys come from. What they do is they obviously practice martial arts, but they'll start their day with, I believe it's more like a quick 10-minute or a quick 20-minute seated meditation. Then they'll move on to Qigong, right? And they'll do Qigong for like the next 40 minutes or so, which is the moving meditation. But there's also seated Qigong, and then there's a moving Qigong, right? So they'll start off with a seated Qigong, which is Qigong is just moving the energy within your body, within your chakras. And then the moving Qigong is moving energy around you, kind of thing. So they're both different. A seated meditative practice is focus. You can do so much within it. And one thing that you can do is you can control the energy flow. Let me expand on that a little bit. There's from Eastern medical culture, right? Not Western, not the hospitals, but Eastern, such as Tibet and Zen Buddhism, China, that part of the world. They believe in something such as thought forms, emotions. If they're not dealt with, they'll turn into physical illnesses, which is like a last reminder that shit, you need to deal with something. That physical illness is the last reminder reminding you that there's something going on. And their belief system and their medical culture as well, to them, it's more about the emotional healing, but also the energetic healing, right? Realizing that if I have a cancer or a tumor somewhere, right, that has originated because of a previous emotional state, a previous emotion or an event that I have not dealt with. And therefore, I've just kind of packed it up, right? Put it somewhere, because those emotions, that energy, it gets stuck to different parts of your body depending on the emotion, right? It gets connected to different chakras within your body, or around your chakras that are dedicated to that emotional state or that event. And then after a while, it might come up again, and it might come up again, the same kind of event, the same catalyst. And if you don't deal with that emotional blockage, that energetic blockage within your body, right, that eventually, because it's been sitting there for so long, that negative energy, that eventually turns into a disease. It could be cancer, it could be anything. So a very powerful meditative practice is a form of Qigong, a seated Qigong, where obviously you by the time when you're doing Qigong, you should be already able to block off your thoughts or control your thoughts, right? Become aware kind of thing that you're thinking. Once you can do that, then you can do a lot of things with a meditation. And Qigong is a practice of moving energy, right? So in a way, it's a visualization practice as well. At least the way I would do it is I would visualize on, if I knew that, there's a blockage somewhere within my body. The form of Qigong would be visualizing healing energy, right? Love, healing energy, compassion, those feelings, but a general healing energy, breathing that in, right? Imagining that healing energy being air. So as you inhale that, you can direct it to different parts of your body in a visualization type of way in your mind, just seeing it move through your body, feeling it move through your body into that cancer or that blockage, that energetic blockage, or whatever it is, that disease, wherever it is in the body, right? And clearing it, combating it with those positive vibes, literally with that healing energy. And that's a form of medicine in those cultures, right? Qigong is a form of medicine. That's how they still stay healthy for a long period of time, right? Because of the energy moving. It's literally moving energy. So that's something that you can do within a meditation. Another thing that you can do, which is kind of similar to that, is once you get past the state of being aware, becoming aware, right? And now you can control your thoughts. Again, the next thing that you can do is you can do a mantra, like in transcendental meditation, right? The mantra that you repeat over and over and over and over again. It's just like a guided meditation. So some of you guys might focus on Headspace. Some of you guys might want to try TM, Transcendental Meditation. But in a similar fashion, let's say you want to focus on abundance, financial abundance. So in your meditative practice, as you're breathing in, right, you're taking that big inhale and exhale. So that big inhale in your mind, right, what you feel, as you're inhaling abundance, right? The feeling of abundance. What does it feel to be abundant? And it's realizing that abundance is everywhere around you. In a jungle, that was a very powerful meditation, because when you're in the jungle, there's abundance everywhere. There's birds everywhere, there's trees everywhere, there's nature everywhere. You just notice that everything is everywhere. Abundance, not just in the form of financial abundance, just the general feeling of abundance, right? And it can be obviously a focused feeling of financial abundance, right? So what does it feel like to you, that financial abundance or just abundance in general? So a form of meditation is breathing in that abundance, filling your body with that abundance, with that feeling of abundance, and then on the exhale, feeling it come out of your body into the world, right? Spreading that abundance everywhere to everybody, sharing it, right? And that can be done for every type of emotion, right? So you can obviously do it for the feeling of abundance, right? So you generate that flow of abundance, the flow of money, because again, you create that environment within you. That's what I was talking about in the previous lessons, creating an environment within you, right? It's a form of manifestation, right? So the part of that is breathing that abundance in as you inhale, is creating that environment within your body. And obviously that's going to help in your trading success, right? In your trading career, because you're creating that feeling of abundance, unlimited abundance within you, right? And it's a feeling, it's a state of feeling. And that's what you inhale. And then when you exhale, you're sharing it with the world, you're spreading it. And not only can you do that with the feeling of abundance, but you can do that with the feeling of gratitude, right? Being grateful. Do the same thing. Inhale gratitude and then exhale it, being grateful for everything around you and sharing that gratitude, right? When you're grateful, amazing things happen to you, right? Same thing for the feeling of joy and happiness, right? You can do the same thing, bring those feelings of joy and happiness into your body and then release them to the world, right? Same thing for love. That too, you know, in a way, creating that within you is manifesting, because what you create within, right, that's reflected to the outside and mirrored back to you, right, in the physical. So it's reflected to the field and then brought to you in the form of physical, right? The love of your life, or just love in general, a love for a particular thing. You know, if that's what you create within, that's what you'll get outside in the 3D reality kind of thing where we live in. And it's a form of hacking the system. It's literally a form of hacking the system. So that practice alone, kind of breathing it in, that energy of healing, and then distributing it to the different parts of your body that has illness. Try that next time you feel ill, you know, do that. Do it on a regular daily basis, twice a day, 3 times a day, even better. Same thing for the feelings of abundance, the feelings of joy and happiness, the feelings of gratitude, the feelings of compassion. Compassion is a very strong emotion, right? It's something that the Buddhists believe in very strongly. If you ask them what's the key to life, right? What's the key to hacking the system? What is the key to life? They'll say compassion. Compassion is the key to life. Compassion is the key to manifestation. Compassion is the key for you to achieve anything that you desire. They'll say the key is compassion. So if you can create that compassion within you, right, or any one of those feelings within you, right, that's the key to life, right? That's how you all of a sudden go from living in a negative way to living the best life that you can live, right? Because again, it's remapping, not just your mind now, it's remapping your energetic body, yourself, your physical body as well. Yeah, you know, so that is kind of what I would recommend from the beginning, right? And that's something that where you might even leave off at that, and you'll experience many different things by doing that, specifically when you're able to get in a repetitive state for a longer period of time, meaning that, again, once you become aware of the thoughts, that's where the guided meditation comes in, right? You can control the flow of thoughts and ideas in your mind. Focus on some that if you have to focus on to problem solve, to pick up on ideas and such, and the rest you let go. A majority of them, you'll probably feel like they're just junk. I don't have to think about this right now. You know, literally, that's how you'll be talking to yourself. It's like, why am I thinking about this? I don't need this right now. Move on. You know, And when you move on, you'll just go back to whatever it is that you were doing, whether it was focusing on the breath or focusing on a mantra or focusing on a word, focusing on a sound, like you hear the Buddhist monks do Om, OM, focusing on the Om, sound of creation. So that's a mantra in a way. And after that, once you're able to become aware, block off those emotions, and go back to whatever it was that you were doing, the breath, the mantra, both. Focus on that, stay there in that place, and then all of a sudden probably a thought form will come in again. And then you do the same thing. You'll become aware, you let it go, and then go back to your breath. And that's how you start off, at least a normal, traditional type of meditative practice, to the point where all of a sudden you can be in that place of no thoughts for a longer period of time, right? And when you can be there for a longer period of time, and again, sometimes you might be able to get to that state within a couple minutes. Sometimes it will take you 10 minutes. Sometimes you will be 20 minutes and be like, holy shit, I have a clouded head today. That's totally cool, because at least you slowed it down a little bit, right? So you'll notice that sometimes some days that where you have a lot going on, you'll go into meditation and you'll be thinking over and over and over again, and you just can't block it out. And that's cool. You don't have to be hard on yourself. You can just do it again tomorrow or later today, kind of thing. So even me, a lot of times I've been meditating for a lot of hours now, and that will still happen regularly, where I just have lots going on in my mind and can't block it off. And that's totally fine. I found that a lot of people are struggling with that, but that is fine. It's okay. Do it again tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow you don't have a clouded mind, and you can focus on that meditation a little bit more. And then, so once you do that, at that point, you can explore with the feelings of abundance, bringing those feelings in and releasing them to the world. If you focus on that, and then if you can do it over and over and over again within a session, repetitively, right, without distractions, then you'll probably notice that all of a sudden you might go out of body, where you just feel very light and you don't feel the physical. Literally, you might get to a point where you don't feel the physical. That's normal too, right? That's okay. It's a normal thing with meditation. You might even start seeing some visions. I would tell you guys, start to become aware of what you're feeling, right? That's another thing. When you can truly kind of open up, but also block off the noise. So when you can block off the noise by becoming aware, and then open up to receiving information, because that's another thing. We're receiving information all the time, right? It's a form of channeling from your higher self, right? So you're receiving information all the time. And when you can block off the noise in a meditative state, it's easier to receive that information as long as you're open to receiving, right? That's the key, open to receiving, because some people are closed off, they're resistant to receiving information, right? But if you're open to the idea, then you need to be open to the different ways of receiving information in a meditative state. And it doesn't even have to be a meditative state. Sometimes, or not sometimes, you will experience one of these things, maybe even all of them, such as touch. You might be meditating, and then all of a sudden you feel like something's touching you, right? Or touching your elbow, your shoulder, kind of thing, right? So that's one thing. That's that touch. That's your higher self, a lot of the time, just letting you know, I'm here, kind of thing. It's literally, right? It might even be a sound, a voice. Some of you guys might hear something. And if you do this practice, any meditative practice for a longer period of time, you probably will hear something. You probably will feel something as well, something touching you. You might see a vision, right, or an image or a message be received. It might also be a feeling of knowingness. You just know, so if it might be a problem or a decision or something that you need to make, if you go into a meditation with an intention of, receiving certain information in regards to a decision or whatever, it might be the feeling of knowingness, right? When you're in that meditative state, you will just know that gut feeling or just knowing that, yep, that's what I got to do. That's receiving information as well. Right? So there's many different ways to receive information. You can receive information in a dream state, right? Your dreams are also receiving information, as long as you can remember them. That's the key. So that brings me to the point of that you can do so much within a meditative practice, but you have to start somewhere, right? And we'll be talking about the things that you can do in the next lesson, right? This lesson is about getting started, right? And getting started is becoming aware, clearing your thoughts, focusing on the mantra, right? Or focusing on the breath, just becoming calm, clear-headed, light within you, neutralizing those emotions. That will help you in trading. That will help you in your day-to-day life. And then you can explore with, the feeling of abundance. That's so powerful. That's just doing that practice itself is one of the most powerful things that you can do, right? Breathing in the feelings of abundance, breathing in the feelings of health, the energy, the healing energy, right? The abundant energy, the joy, the happiness, the gratitude. Any one of those, you can dedicate a meditation to a specific emotion, right? Of whatever it is that you need at that point in time. So that's kind of where you can begin, where you can start exploring. And then what are the best times to meditate? I'll kind of talk about that, and then I'll give you something else as well. But the best times to meditate, again, there is no best time. You can meditate at any time of the day, whatever works for you, as long as you just do it, right? And you do it consistently. It doesn't have to be consistently at that specific time. But if it is, great, because it's just part of your schedule kind of thing, part of your daily routine. But you can meditate at any point of day. It can be every single morning, every single afternoon, every single night, within the day, during your lunch break, if you're at your 9 to 5, on a walk within a park, wherever. You can be mindful, become mindful, and get in that meditative state of just being in the now, being calm, clear-headed. Do that repetitive, do that daily. Try it for 30 days, try it for 60 days, every single day for 10 minutes. And I guarantee that your life will change. So one of the best times to do it at, though, is in the morning before the sun rises. That is one of the two times within a day where you have light and you have dark, where the world around you has light and darkness at the exact same time, right? And the sun still hasn't risen. That's a very energetic part of the day, one of the most energetic parts of the days. And a meditation that you can do at that point in time, let's say 30 minutes before sunrise or 20 minutes before sunrise, a meditation that you can do at that point is more of getting yourself centered for that day. So it could be more of whatever it is that you need to feel that day, the joy, the gratitude, the abundance, bring those emotions in, right? Or you can go deeper, and something that we'll chat about in the next lesson and the lessons after that is the manifestation, the visualization, right? Becoming that person that you want to be 2 years from now, kind of thing, and bringing those emotions in, right? So starting off your day that way, imagine starting off your day with a 20-minute meditative practice where you focus on abundance and you see yourself as the best trader that ever existed, or whatever it is that you want to manifest, right? That morning meditation can be the manifestation type of meditation, getting yourself ready for the day, focus on your purpose, on your mission, on your path, right? That's a great time to do that. And you don't have to do it before sunrise, right? That's just a very energetic part of the day. And then when the sun rises, when the sun peaks, as if you can do it in Costa Rica, was really cool because I could do it on top of the rooftop, and I had the sunrise and I had the sunset, and I could see both. And if you can do it and see the sunrise right away, you'll feel it on your head as the sun peaks above, because you'll feel the heat, you'll feel the light, you'll see the light, and that's when you open your eyes and absorb that light. And think about it. Nobody talks about this, but sunrise and sunset, that 1 hour of sun, at sunrise, it's not even an hour, but it's more like 30 minutes. At sunset, it might be like an hour. That 2-hour period within a day, hour in the morning, hour in the evening, is the only time where you can truly look at the sun and it not affecting you in a negative way. You can just look at the sun. Whereas if the sun's at its highest point, you cannot stare at the sun. But at sunrise, you can. And that is, again, an ancient practice they used to do all the time to open up your pineal gland, is getting in that state of calmness, and as the sun rises, opening your eyes and letting that energy come in, that solar energy come in, right into your head, into your mind, and filling it again with your body, and finishing off your meditation that way. So powerful if you can do it, right? But if you can't, at least waking up during sunrise, right? Or again, at any time of the day. That's just a very powerful time of the day. And if you can do it at sunset, both times, the sunset meditation can be a little bit different, right? The sunset meditation is a meditation that you can do, and again, this is just an opinion, it's just a guideline. Sunset meditation can be a reflective type of meditation, right? This is something that we'll chat more about when it comes to manifestation, because that's kind of where this comes in, right? Meditating at those 2 times is very powerful for manifestation purposes, right? In the morning, it's the actual manifestation, the visualization, the purpose, the mission, the drive, right? And visualizing that, or bringing those feelings into you so that you can start your day on your purpose, right? On the right path. At sunset, a reflective meditation. So the intention of that can be, maybe I was charged, something charged me in a negative way throughout my day. Maybe I got in an argument with a spouse or a colleague or whatever, or my boss, or I freaked out in road rage because some guy cut me off. Whatever, you got charged in some type of way, right? And at that point, at the end of the day, you can do a reflective type of meditation. Well, why did I get charged, right? What sparked that? And in a way, if you do that every single day, reflect on the trading session, right? Reflect on the day in general, but specifically on those points on those catalysts that charged you in a negative way or a positive way, right? But specifically, if there's a negative event, reflect on that negative event, find the good, but also try to find what started that. It could be something, an event a year ago, an event from your childhood, right? And if you start your meditation with the intention of resolving that issue, whatever it was that charged you, that's where you will receive that information. That's where you again have to be open to receiving, because at that point, you'll hear something, you might see a vision, a memory. All of a sudden, you might see a memory that you've experienced when you were younger that gives you the answer to your question, right? Of why was I charged today? And all of a sudden you might receive an image of what caused that kind of thing. And if you can do that every single day, not even every single day, but if you can make that into your daily routine, the morning and the evening, you're becoming the best version of yourself. You're hijacking life, right? You're hijacking your emotions, and you're growing every single day because you're starting off in your purpose, your mission, and then you're finishing off with reflection, right? The lessons of what you can change immediately. Those stored emotions, right, that churn into that latch on to different parts of your body, that's where that reflective meditation comes in, right? Because you're not going to have those stored emotions if you reflect on the catalyst that happened that day, that caused the feelings of anger, right, of hatred, of greed, or whatever happened within that day. You know, if you focus on the event and you fix it within, immediately, that day, the next day, but that day, that sunset, then all of a sudden you can eliminate disease, right? You can pick up on lessons, but you will not be storing that baggage within you, that energetic baggage within you. And to me, that's one of the most powerful things that one can do for your well-being, for your abundance, for everything, is meditating that type of way. But again, it doesn't have to be that strict, because I know a lot of you guys won't wake up at sunrise. A lot of you guys will not be able to meditate at sunset. If you can, epic. In Costa Rica, it was easy. Literally, it was so easy in Costa Rica to do that because that's all there was to do, literally, So some of you guys might want to go eventually on a 1-year retreat somewhere and live someplace where you can do that. And if you're able to do that for a 1-year period, you'll learn so much about yourself. It's crazy. So like I said, there's no right or wrong way to meditate. I just wanted to say that. You're going to hear people say that TM is the way, that Kriya Yoga is the way, that, Qigong is the way. I try it all. I would want to try it all. And you guys try it all too if you want. But do what feels right for you. Again, you don't have to sit in a cross-legged lotus position, if you don't have the flexibility. Something that you might get later after a while. But you can just sit in a normal chair with your feet on the ground and do your meditation. It can be simple. And I highly recommend as homework, right? Since you're in the psychology masterclass, this is like one of the key things to life. And so many people do it. Ray Dalio does it. He's the best investor in the world, right? And he preaches it. And so many people do. So many successful people do. They do this as a form of daily morning and evening practice. So why wouldn't you, right? And I was resistant to it for a very long time until I've tried it for a month, and then everything changed. So I highly recommend it, guys. Check it out, try it, and see what happens. And it can be that simple of just focusing on the breath, focusing on a mantra, focusing on a word, focusing on an incantation. I am. The I am statements are some of the most powerful statements that you can make, right? So in your mind, when you're meditating, you can be repeating a series of I am statements. I am abundance. I am love. I am happiness. I am health, right? Or I am something else. Make it longer if you want. Make it a sentence if you want. Make it a phrase. Make it a couple words, right? But the I am statements are some of the most powerful statements that you can do, because the I am is creation in itself. That's creation. When you say I am, you're creating, right? So also when you say I'm not that, well, you can do this, but I can't. That's creation, right? So in your meditation, as an incantation, you can say an I am statement as a form of a mantra, And you can repeat that I am statement over and over and over and over again. Or you might want to write down a few different I am statements, right? A series of I am statements related to finance and financial abundance. I am abundant. I have all the money I ever require, right? Or any type of, it doesn't fit a few I am statements in there, but it can also be more broad, right? I have, I am, whatever, right? And you can do that for abundance. You can do that for health. You can do that for gratitude. You can do that for compassion, right? And it's something that you can do as well as you're breathing that abundance in. You can also say, I am abundant, right? I have everything that I require. And that's something that you can do. I don't always do that, right? Because that's more of a guided meditation. That's a self-guided meditation, you know? Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I will just clear my mind. Sometimes I will try more of a psychic type of meditation, which is something we'll chat about in lesson number 2, meditation part 2, such as out-of-body experiences, remote viewing, channeling, right? Channeling wisdom and information. I feel like I went on a long run there. I don't know, guys. It's the first time I'm kind of teaching meditation, but did you get value out of that? I think I've been going for, man, an hour and 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to wrap it up at that. And I'm going to answer some questions. And then we'll close it off. And in the next lesson, we'll go deeper into what else you can do, some of the deep stuff within a meditation, some of the magic, right? It's literally magic. And it's some of those experiences that you can do regularly, but it's some of those experiences that you will probably experience without even trying to. And that's what I was saying earlier. If you can get in that repetitive state that of just consistently focusing on your breath or focusing on a mantra and blocking out the noise, if you do that for a long period of time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, all of a sudden you might get in a different state of consciousness, right? You might hit a different state of consciousness. At some point you will be able to do that, where you hit a different state of consciousness and all of a sudden you might feel like you're floating. You might even see yourself below yourself. You know, you might be this kind of a form of astral projection, right? A remote out of body experience. So that's something that you might experience. You might experience voices, sounds, somebody touching you, right? And that's all normal. Those are all normal psychic type of experiences. And when you have a regular meditative practice, you do this over and over and over and over again, you realize that, yeah, you know, you do have psychic abilities, truly, right? So during the next lesson, we'll chat a little bit more about that. And that's going to be very interesting. And then we'll move on to manifestation, which we already started a little bit about in the previous lessons. Cool. So hit me up with your questions, guys. I'm going to go through the community here, see what you guys have been asking. And I'll screen share this just so you guys can see on the replays the questions I'm reading. There we go. So some questions here. Morgan, meditating on the jungle on the rooftop to the sunrise was epic. Yeah, man. It's everybody that came to our house in Costa Rica, the rooftop was a special place. You know, I highly recommend that you guys find something, even if it's an Airbnb that you can go for at night or the weekend, a place that feels like home, you know, that's doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be massive, but it's surrounded by nature. that you can see the sunrise, you can see the sunset, you know. And if you're surrounded in the middle of nowhere in nature, it can be so epic for your beingness, you know, but your meditative practice can be so epic too. It was when it was in the jungle where I had one of my first out-of-body experiences, and I'll chat about that in the next lesson. But because of I was in the jungle, I felt like I was literally connected to everything around me, the trees, the birds, the sounds. It was pretty cool, and then I was able to do that again and again, and I did it a few times. But it was being present in that environment does help, you know. So I highly recommend you guys find a place like that on Airbnb for that you can just hit up for the weekend whenever you want, kind of thing. Somewhere around you, somewhere cool. Or build that in your environment, build that in your house, you know, in your garden, wherever, you know, you're kind of like a little meditative pit. For us, it was the rooftop in Costa Rica. Now we kind of build an environment where we'll be able to meditate anywhere. We just got to get some plants in here. Bring the jungle to the city. Kev, to think I signed up to just trading? This is boss. Love it. Awesome, man. Steph, I had my first energy healing session today and it was amazing. I've never felt love like I did after the session. I left feeling blissful at peace. I get these similar feelings when I meditate, so I'm now focusing on going deeper and maintaining that feeling for as long as I can in between sessions. Yeah, epic. You know, that's the thing. As soon as you experience something once, you can do it again. You know, that's the thing. As if you experience something within a meditation feeling, right? Such as an energy healing, if you go to that and experience an energetic healing, right away, that's kind of unlocked the possibility for you to do that on a regular basis now, because you know what it feels like. And when you know what it feels like, you can get to that state just like that, you know, within a meditation by yourself. So you can always access that. And that's the thing. For me, because I meditated on the rooftop in Costa Rica for so long, I can just sit on that beanbag right there, you know, and get in a meditative state, right? That calm state of nothingness. And I can literally astral project myself to that rooftop. And I will feel the same things that I felt. I will hear the same things that I heard. And it will feel like I'm there in that meditation, right? That's something that you can do with a very strong kind of visualization practice, right? It's a form of astral projection again, right? So you can experience different things, right? You can experience the same things that you've experienced before, or environments. You can build those environments or create those feelings within you, specifically when you've experienced it already before. But that's epic stuff. That's awesome. Nick, I had an experience yesterday where I felt I was trying to burst through my forehead with an incredible amount of energy. I opened my eyes and physically couldn't move. It was incredibly insane. Try this. That's something that happens when I do it on a regular basis to kind of open up the pineal gland, bring energy and light into the pineal gland, right? Into kind of like this part of your brain, just in there, roughly a little bit in. But it will be kind of breathing in light energy and then having it travel to the top of your head and storing it there, keeping it there, breathing in more of that light energy, storing it, and then bringing more of that light energy and storing it. As you're kind of inhaling, right? You're inhaling up to your pineal gland and you're keeping it there. And it'll be, for me, it's like a bright thing, that bright ball that develops. And as I breathe in more of that light energy, it just opens up, expands and expands and expands. And all of a sudden, I'm like in this light bubble. And you don't feel anything else. You don't see anything else. It's just, you're just light, you know? It's a very crazy experience. It's unique. And it's like, I feel like when I'm getting there, there's like a point where I just break through. You know, the more energy you send, and if you continue sending, and you just continue focusing on this part of your brain, of your body, right, on the pineal gland, if you just keep on focusing on that and kind of channeling that energy straight to that point, all of a sudden you will feel, at least for me, I feel like if I do that over and over and over and over and over again, it will hit a point, kind of like a wall, that if I continue going, it will just kind of break through, and all of a sudden I'm just in a white space in nothingness, right? It's really cool. Try it out. You know, the beauty of this is you can explore, right? That's why I love not having a strict meditative practice like TM, you know, because TM is something that you do, you just repeat the mantra over and over and over again, and then you repeat on the same mantra or a different mantra, right? But that's kind of all you do, right? But again, I didn't do TM a lot, so I can't really speak about it too often. But the thing that I love about just being open to different meditative practices, that yeah, if you want TM guided, you can do that. But also if you want to explore and do different things, have fun within your meditations, you have the freedom to do that too. You know, work on those psychic abilities. That's truly where things get interesting, you know, when you start exploring within your meditation. Now, that's the thing, at the beginning, it might be a little bit stressful because you feel like you just have so many thoughts within you, you know, that you can't get away. But eventually you will. You know, you keep up on the meditation for a month and you will feel like it's easy after that. You know, and you all of a sudden will increase your time to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, right? And the longer you will go, the deeper you can go into those states of being, right? And at that point, it's about exploring as well, right? And trying different things. See what else you guys are saying. Francisco, once I was almost falling asleep and started to have a lucid dream. I had the sound of creation in my mind for some minutes, and I could see perfect geometrical figures, especially circles with strong color. Suddenly, I felt myself in kind of another dimension where everything was quiet, and I had a feeling that if I asked something, I would have all the answers. A kind of place that I felt nothing was missing, so I didn't ask anything. At the same time, I was kind of scared with the experience and decided to stop the dream. How would you describe this experience? That's you went pretty deep. You went pretty deep. It's a good one. It's it's something that after a while you can direct. It's a place that you can also reach through hypnosis. It's a place that you can reach through a very deep meditation as well, right? A place of nothingness. It's a different state of consciousness where you literally feel like all the information is there. You feel like you're everything, right? I always say that when people ask me, do you believe in God? I will reply, I am God. It's within me. I'm everything, right? And that's, in a way, that's the feeling. Sometimes, depending on how deep you go into various states of consciousness, because there's various states of consciousness, right? Some of those states within a meditation will feel more real than this reality, right? It will feel more real than this. And that's where truly things get interesting, you know, because you start to realize that this is just one experience. It's a cool one, right? But it's just one experience. And when you can start exploring within different states of consciousness, right? Lucid dreaming, within the dream state as well, lucid dreaming, meditation, right? Deep type of meditation. And you can use those different states of consciousness to bring things into the physical. But this is, again, the physical, the 3D, that's just one state of consciousness. It's literally just one state of consciousness, right? You're more than that. You're multidimensional. Therefore, that's why you can hit those different states of consciousness through meditation and different practices. And when you do that, you realize that, yeah, fuck, I am multidimensional. There's more to it than just this physical, right? And it's not a religious thing or anything like that. To me, it's nothing like that. It's just what is. You know, it's more science than anything too. When you start hitting things such as quantum science and quantum physics and quantum mechanics, right? And start talking about the quantum field, And when you start going into hypnotherapy, do some hypnosis and such, yeah, you can go pretty deep. It's interesting. It's cool, you know. It makes it fun. It makes it different as well. But yeah, Francisco, that's just go with it and explore. Explore. You know, you're hitting states of consciousness that many people don't hit because they don't meditate, you know. Then if you guys do a consistent meditative practice, yeah, you guys will experience that probably too. The geometry, the feeling of nothingness, but also the feeling that everything is everything, that you're just abundant. It's like nothing but everything at the same time. It's interesting. And that's when you truly realize that, fuck, you're powerful. Benoit, outside, inside meditation, did you feel any difference? Yeah, you do feel the difference. It's more the nature, you know. That's why you guys don't see it, but farther in, this loft, it just continues to go. It goes much farther in, and farther in, there's like a little garden, which we're gonna make like kind of like a little jungle. Being in tune with the nature, right, is very powerful too, right? It's very powerful, and you can do. That's the thing. When you become aware, all of a sudden you start to you'll feel your body tingling, but you can also, when you become aware of things, imagine you're sitting in a garden, you're sitting by a tree, you're sitting under a tree. What you can do is the tree exhales, right? The tree exhales air, right? You can inhale it. And it's all an intention, right? It's just all intention and a visualization within you. So as you inhale, right? As you're inhaling what the tree is exhaling, what the nature is exhaling. You're inhaling that and then you're giving it back, right? And it's kind of like this routine that you do with nature, with the jungle, with the tree that you're sitting under, right? With the grass. And you're connecting yourself with the outside environment. Versus being inside, obviously you don't have that nature around you, but it's different, right? It's different. In a way, I can go into that moment just like this, right? Because I know what it feels like. I can go to that because that's a memory that's engraved within me now, you know. So eventually, it doesn't matter where you are. You can be in a cave, you know, total darkness. That's just a different experience. It's just one experience. Meditating in nature versus meditating inside or meditating in a cave, right? It's just a different experience. Nick, are you worried your meditation will be affected now that you're back in sitting? No. Worriness? Why worry? Why worry? No, something that I want to do more is I want to explore a little bit more because Molly is a certified hypnotherapist because of the things that when we learned about hypnotherapy, past life regression and things like that, myself and Molly, specifically Molly, got really into hypnosis for the purpose of like past life regression and exploring different states of consciousness. And then we went to Toronto and she got certified by one of the best people in the field. So what I want to do is I want to explore that a little bit more, right? Explore that state of consciousness a little bit more. It's very interesting. We'll chat more about that in the next lesson. Danny, I had a similar experience in Tula, Mexico. That place is a paradise. Yeah, Costa Rica is like an older version of Tula, Mexico, where just before Tulum became Tulum. That's kind of what Costa Rica feels like. Nick, the most incredible thing I find about it all is that science actually has an answer for it all. Quantum physics, like you mentioned, yeah, it's been around. It's been around for a long, long time. The answers have been around for a very long time. It's just eventually it was seen as witchcraft. You know, these types of experiences were seen as witchcraft, right? And the practices were banned by the Roman Catholic Church and such, and then all of a sudden kind of meditation, but the connection, that practice, that magic that you can do in those states of consciousness, within those various states of consciousness, that was seen as something negative. The psychics were seen as something negative, and it just kind of disappeared within history, right? And now it's coming back, right? It's been coming back for the last 50 years, I would say. With recently, you guys probably noticed a very strong push into meditation and such, with the release of apps such as Headspace and Calm and so on. But the quantum physics, that science has been around, but it's something that is truly, again, being rediscovered again, right? And quantum science, quantum physics, quantum mechanics explains it all. It does explain the connection, and there have been experience, and we'll chat a little bit more about that in the quantum lesson. Nick, yet nobody wants to try and understand it in society in general. That is, yeah, that's because the old belief system. It's just an old belief system. But that's the Western society, man. That's just the Western society. You go to the East, people have been doing Qigong for thousands of years. People have been meditating in Tibet for thousands of years, you know. You can go there and talk to them and they'll chat a little bit more. You go to Native Americans, right? Or Native ancestors and such. They also do their dancing rituals, as an example. That is a state of meditation, right? Their dancing rituals that the Native Americans do, Native cultures, that is a meditative practice to them. That's a connecting type of practice to the different states of consciousness. All right, I have a couple other questions here that I have written down, and I'll slowly finish up, guys. So I have a question here about astral projection that I had saved. I will actually answer that in the next lesson. Right? I will talk more about astral projection. So I will chat more about that in the next lesson. Okay, I'll cover this question. Actually, I'll finish off with that question. There's something that just came up in the chat. Oh, I'm sharing the chat. Question on the bottom by Steph. Have you seen the documentary Grounded? It talks specifically about earthing and its benefits. Let me show you something powerful. Earthing, grounding, something that Molly taught me, something that Molly learned from yoga. Earthing? Yeah. From yoga and hypnosis. Molly has learned the technique from yoga and hypnosis, because when you go into a hypnosis session, you should ground yourself first. And there's various ways to do this technique. One of the ways to do it is, doesn't matter where you are, you can ground yourself, right? And again, it's a form of breathing exercise, but it could be a visualization exercise too. For me, it's both. and feeling, right? It's all of that. And it's a standing practice. It's the standing meditative practice, but you could do a sitting as well, right? Stand normally. You can do it now. Fuck, stand up. For those who are in the room, close your eyes. And all of a sudden, feel that your legs, there's energy. There can be, you can see it as roots of a tree, right? In one form. Roots of a tree just kind of expanding down to earth, right? And then sucking, kind of bringing that energy back up, right? So you're grounding yourself with earth, and then you're bringing the energy back, right? It's kind of like roots, energetic roots, just kind of extending into earth. That's one way of doing it, right? And then as you bring the energy back, you can again release it through the top of your head, through the crown chakra, into the galaxy, into space, right? That energy. And that's a form of connection with earth, right? It's just a simple visualization feeling exercise, feeling that you're extending inside, right? Reaching deep down into earth and then pulling that energy up and then releasing it within you. Another way is light, bringing light in through you down to earth and then back up, right? Just kind of like a light beam just going deep down into the center and then exploding back up, right? It's a form of grounding. There's different exercises, but these two, very simple, very powerful. And yeah, you do that before a trading session in the morning at any point in time where you feel kind of disconnected, right? You can ground yourself to earth. And it's, again, a very powerful, simple tool. And again, it can turn into a meditation if you do it for 5-10 minutes, just focusing on that, breathing in, breathing out, connecting. But no, I have not seen the documentary Grounded. Check it out, guys. Check it out. I'll check it out myself too. I'll write it down. Thanks, Steph. All right. Let me answer this one question, and then I'll give you guys a couple of resources. Something that has been looming over me for quite a while, and I was hoping you could touch on it. I've been manifesting my future lifestyle for a while now. This is a question that's going to relate to a lot of you guys. So I have been manifesting my future lifestyle for a while now, deeply entrenching my mind into a place of abundance. I have a clear plan with room to make changes if need be, and I'm making progress every single day. So he's doing everything right? He's meditating, manifesting it, feeling the feelings of abundance, right? He's on the right path. Putting in the work has never been the issue. Currently, I'm in the middle of selling my house so that I can 10x my account size and reduce my preconceived timelines. The problem for me, and I'm sure many others, lies in my 9-to-5. It's a good 6-figure career. I come from a small town and most people my age around the world kill for it. But I feel like I've manifested this whole other life in my head so much that it makes my current reality very difficult to deal with. That can happen, right? Not so much my home life, but strictly my 9-to-5. Because with commute, I feel like I'm lighting 10.5 hours of my life on fire every single day. I know this is where mindset and gratitude comes in, but I'm really struggling with overcoming this feeling. I just want to get in my mind in a place where I can enjoy the process, but this job leaves me with a feeling of hopelessness every day I'm there. I feel like that time is being so underutilized in relation to my future goals. Fucking 9-to-5, eh? But that's the thing, you need it at this point in your journey. That 9-to-5 is going to bring you closer. And that's a belief that you need to create. And you got to realize how it brings you closer. So that's the trick, though, because in your mind, you can go so deep into your visualizations, into your manifestations. And literally, when I build the thing that I want to manifest, the lifestyle that I want to manifest in my mind, if I do it for an extended period of time, literally, I can have a 40-minute meditation session and I will just create one room within that 40 minutes, right? So we'll do it over and over and over and over and over again for months, building out this lifestyle in my mind, building out this platform in a different reality, in a different state of consciousness, right? Everything from what the house looks like to what the environment looks like to the feelings, the job, the work, the myself of who I am, the family, everything, right? You can build it in your meditation, visualization, manifest it. But then you finish off the manifestation, and all of a sudden, instead of driving the Lamborghini that you were driving in the meditation, you obviously all of a sudden jump to your Toyota Prius. And you go to your 9 to 5, and you feel like, what the fuck, you know? But that's the thing. You have to take that feeling, right? Because if you all of a sudden create this amazing feeling within you, and then you get in your car and you get on the drive, and all of a sudden you're back into your hatred of the 9 to 5 or the discomfort or just depression or whatever feeling it is that you're feeling, all of a sudden that has just gone to waste, right? You're not creating anymore. That creation has stopped because of a distortion in your daily routine, in your daily practice. And the distortion is the feeling that you're associating with the 9 to 5. That's the distortion. And it will be very hard for you to manifest that lifestyle if you have a distortion within your life right now that you have not dealt with. That's stopping you. That's creating those feelings of depression, hatred, or whatever, or struggle. That is a distortion within your life. So yeah, that's, to me, you got to realize this individual is about to sell a house, so that they can start trading full time. So that feeling should only be temporary, right? Because you'll be selling your house, and all of a sudden you'll have a much larger account size that you can potentially live off of. It's a 6-figure job. I'm young, I have a 6-figure job, and everybody my age will tell me I'm crazy. I was told that. I didn't have a 6-figure job, but I had a high income, right? Very good middle-class job. Everybody thought I was crazy when I quit. It's normal. Everybody would want it. But at some point, you got to pull the trigger and you got to move on, right? So if you have the ability to do that right now because of your account size, just move on. Take the step. At some point, you have to, right? At some point, you're going to have to. So 6-figure job, sure. Is 6 figures a lot? 100 grand, 120, is that a lot? Are you going to achieve $1 million in that career? 500 grand, 2 mil, 10 mil, billion? Put the bigger perspective on it, right? At some point, if you have the means, as an example, you sell your house and all of a sudden you're trading with 300 grand, right? You have the means to quit your job. Even 100 grand for some of you guys with the results that you have is enough to quit your job. Maybe even 50 grand is enough for some of you guys to quit your job. At some point, you're gonna have to make the decision and take the step, because those feelings are stopping you from actually creating the things that you're manifesting in the physical reality, right? Because it's a blockage, it's a distortion within your manifestation, right? You can't go from a feeling of abundance to a feeling of depression and still create what it is that you're manifesting, because you still have to bring that to the physical, right? To your day-to-day routine. But if you have to be in the 9 to 5, then you obviously have to find a different feeling for that 9 to 5. So what is the 9 to 5 giving you right now? Why do you have to be in the 9 to 5 in the first place? For the paycheck, for the money. So why can't you be grateful for that? right? That paycheck, that money is funding your trading account, or it allows you to grow your trading account. So stick around for a few more months, stick around for a year, and find the gratitude in that. Fuck, without this 9 to 5, how the fuck are you gonna grow your trading account? Beg? Seriously, you know? Find the gratitude in that and the comfort in that, because it's easy. I'm grateful for my 9 to 5 because it allows me to focus on trading. Because I don't have to learn a new skill. I don't have to learn how to sell products on Amazon. I can just focus on my trading because of my 9 to 5, because it's comfortable. Remap it, right? And at the same time, it's easy. I know how to do it, and it funds my trading account. Fuck yeah, I'll go to work. The more work, the more time I'll put in, the faster I'll grow my account. I fucking went overtime because of that reason. I started working overtime because even though I didn't enjoy the work, I enjoyed the fact that I know how to do it, right? I don't have to stress about it, and it's gonna fund my trading account. So I went overtime so that I do it faster. I get through this step of my life faster, build my account up to the point where I can quit my job. Remap it, remap the experience, right? And as soon as you can, you get to a place in your finances where you can leave that 9 to 5, do it. At some point, you're going to have to, right? So if it feels right, do it. Don't hesitate. Is that good? I hope that answers it. But you have to find a different feeling for that 9 to 5, because if you have to do it, you know, you can't go from a place of manifestation to struggle or hopelessness or any other type of feeling like that. Because with that, it will counter everything that you've just done. So yeah, find a different purpose for the 9 to 5, the different perspective. It's there. The different perspective is there. It is there. You know it. You know it. You're just anxious. You're ready to move on. So stick around for a little bit longer, and all of a sudden you'll notice it's time. Francisco, would be nice that the masterclass retreat incorporates somehow in a practice way these topics. Yeah, masterclass retreat. We haven't chatted about that recently, but at some point there will be a masterclass retreat. It'll be more than just trading. There'll be these topics, for sure, for sure. Also creating my life a meditation house, room by room, all the members of my future family in my garage, my view, the colors, the daily routine, the way just going out of home, it's creating in our inner world to manifest in the outer world. Yeah, exactly. You know, that's within meditation, you create that within you, but you also create it in a different state of consciousness, right? It's again building up that platform that you can now pull into this physical reality. We'll expand much more into that. Would Molly and yourself have a live Q&A on how you created the path you guys are on, the support you're giving each other, and Molly's personal experiences and how she dealt with your beliefs in quitting the 9 to 5 relationship advice? At some point we'll do it. We can do it. Molly says she can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Maybe near the end or somewhere after the workshop for sure. We'll definitely cover relationships at some point. All right, guys, that is it. I'll give you guys a resource. One of you here above has mentioned binaural beats, binaural sounds. A binaural sound, a binaural beat is something that you listen to. And the way it works is it sends one frequency into your left ear, another frequency into one frequency into your right ear, another frequency into your left ear. That's slightly different. And the difference might be 10 hertz or whatever it is. And that difference creates a signal in your brain. It's a brain wave, right? It creates a wave in your brain. Alpha, beta, theta, right? It's a frequency that it creates in your brain by the binaural beat, right? The binaural beat, again, one frequency coming in, another frequency coming in, and the difference is the actual brain wave, alpha, beta, theta, and there's a few others as well. You can research it a little bit more. I mean, that's something that you can create in a meditative state, right? Well, we can chat a little bit more about different brain frequencies such as alpha, beta, and such. And binaural beats allows you to get into that state, but it's also not a natural way to get into that state, right? It's an assisted way to get into that state, artificially assisted in a way as well. You can hit those states of consciousness, or no, it's not a state of consciousness, it's just a brainwave. You can hit those different brainwaves through a meditative practice. You don't have to listen to the binaural beats, right? Once you get to a state of consciousness, all of a sudden you will be in alpha or beta or theta, depending on the different meditation that you're doing, the purpose of the meditation. Google it though, research it a little bit more, brainwaves, alpha, beta, theta, and the others. Research what they are, right? Play around with binaural beats if you want. I did at the beginning as well. I don't anymore. I did play around with it at the beginning until I realized that you can hit those states naturally by intention. But first you need to know what those brain waves are, right? And the purpose of those brain waves. And once you know, then you'll realize when you are in those brain waves within a meditative state, right? Because you know what the brain waves are and you'll feel it within you, right? Those feelings. So yeah, I started off, I did do binaural beats until the point where I didn't have to, right? So check it out. But I'll give you something else. I recommend a couple books as well that you guys can read. But I'll give you a soundtrack, a very, very powerful soundtrack. I'm just gonna search it up here and show it to you guys. All right, we're pushing 2 hours here, so we're gonna wrap it up right now. What you guys see here, this is iTunes, right? So this is iTunes. I don't know if this is on Spotify or whatnot, but the group is Marconi Union. Spelled it out right here. Marconi Union. And they created a soundtrack called Weightless. Okay. Weightless is one of their top songs. And there's a couple different ones. There's Weightless, the original Weightless, which is this one right here. And it's not, this is the album, but the actual song right here, Weightless, it's 8 minutes long, right? The song Weightless. It's a special beat soundtrack that was created to Google it. Actually, let me Google it. I'm curious. Sound therapists and stress specialists worked with the band Marconi Union to develop Weightless, the most relaxing song ever. Weightless works by using specific rhythms, tones, frequencies, and intervals to relax the listener. It's a very powerful song. You can all of a sudden, once you start playing it, you'll feel different. You'll feel the sounds within you, and it will feel, your body will feel totally different, fully relaxed. And there's warnings to this song. Don't listen to it while driving. You know, there's even warnings like if you're pregnant, don't listen to this song. I don't know why. But yeah, it just creates a very deep state within your body. And they have a longer version, Weightless Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5. And they have a whole 10-hour soundtrack as well, Weightless 10-hour version on here. So you can have a very, very deep 10-hour meditation if you want. Yeah, check it out. Check it out, guys. It's an interesting soundtrack if you want to meditate to something. This song has been kind of developed for that purpose, right? And optimized by specialists and scientists and such, right? Researchers. So check it out. And then I'll recommend a couple books as well. And then we'll finish off. So previously, I recommended a couple books by Wayne Dyer, Wishes Fulfilled. Wishes Fulfilled by Wayne Dyer. That's a good one, right?
Yeah, that talks a lot about meditation. Yeah.
Wishes Fulfilled talks a lot about meditation.
Specifically healing.
And healing, right? So Wishes Fulfilled by Wayne Dyer. Check that out. Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza. But there's a different book by Joe Dispenza. And it's called... Huh? I'm only speaking to somebody else, my bad. There's a book by Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Start digging into Joe Dispenza books, right? He's a neurologist, and I think I did mention them a little bit in one of the previous lessons, but this is the time where you can kind of dig into some Joe Dispenza books as well. He talks more about the brain and meditation and the effects and stuff like that. So some Wayne Dyer. Then you can go to, if you want a really deep book, Autobiography of a Yogi. This is one of the only books that Steve Jobs had on his desk, and the book that he gave out to other people was Autobiography of a Yogi, right? And that's the Kriya Yoga. Becoming Supernatural, Joe Dispenza. So Joe Dispenza has some really good books on this stuff. And there's others, you know, you can find so many different books on meditation. I will give you guys, in the next lessons, I will give you some deeper content as well. As we go deeper into this masterclass, there's some deeper resources as well that I'll share with you guys. But that is it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a Y if you have enjoyed the webinar. And Michael Singer, Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is a book I recommended before, but it gives you some tools. Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. If you haven't read it yet, read it. Untethered Soul, Michael Singer. Check it out, guys. And that is it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you found some value out of it. Again, remember that meditation is something that you do for yourself. It's a unique practice for yourself, right? And it doesn't have to be anything difficult. You don't have to follow any strict guidelines, right? Just do what feels right for you. All right, guys, take care. Peace out. Have an awesome day, night, morning, evening, wherever you guys are. See you guys in the next lesson where we hit and tackle some very deep content. Take care, guys.